All right. Well, welcome to episode 3 of the Rent is Due podcast featuring myself, MISTERPIVA. And today we have a very, very special guest, one of my longtime friends, and the most interesting man in Toronto, I would say, Mr. Trevor Koverko. What's up, dude?
Thanks for having me. Thanks for coming.
Well, I don't know if you guys can see, but we're sitting on the 62nd floor here at his place. He's got his outdoor gym here, a little makeshift, but fucking sick. And one of the best views money can buy, I would say. But anyways, TK, talk to me, baby. How you been?
The poor man is nasty. Let's go.
The poor man is nasty. No, definitely not. But anyways, I met Trev, when I was 16. He's a year older. He's 87. I'm an 88. In the Schwiggity Schwag. That's where it all started. The start of the rise of the fall.
To be young again, huh?
To be young again. We had a crew. We had a really cool crew. I see D-Lo sometimes too at the gym.
That guy is when AWOL. I got to go track him down.
I see him all the time at the gym. He's getting married. He's just full-time golfer.
Yeah.
Just living the dream. He's still 7'3".
Yeah.
Great guy. Yeah, he's an awesome guy. But anyways, yeah. So we met in Oshawa, and then had the pleasure of going to Western. Well, you went to Western. I kind of was just there visiting, playing hockey.
Yeah.
And that's. There was a lot of stories in between. Some we could tell. Some we probably shouldn't. Those we'll keep for ourselves. But at Western, that's kind of when we really engaged in our friendship. We always had a pretty strong friendship, but I wanted to bring me to my next point. When you were going to Ivy there, you were always brilliant. You're always one of the smartest dudes. And I don't know if you remember, but it was probably around the time of Bitcoin. And I still don't fucking understand anything of it. I was just watching the little ticker in your house. I thought it was going up every $10,000, but it was going from Canadian to American.
Yeah, dude.
I was losing money as I was staring at it. But let's just talk a little bit about first your playing career, because you definitely had a pretty extensive playing career, and then your transition into the real world and what the fuck you do now, because I still don't know.
Yeah, it's great to see you, buddy.
Always a pleasure. Smile that can light up a room you have.
You're looking like
Jacked,
hefty in a good way, like the good kind, you know? Like, what are you tipping in at these days?
Probably like $180.
Well, that's a good weight for you.
Yeah, that's what I should have.
Cruiserweight.
Cruiserweight, yeah.
Not too bad.
Cruiserweight.
But yeah, no, so I guess my life is kind of in a couple stages. There's like the hockey era, and as you know, as a Canadian, boy, you basically get deported unless you play hockey in our circle. So that was like our childhood, and that's all we did. I never had a job growing up. You just you played hockey. That was our profession. That was our pastime. That's where all of our friends were. Yeah. It was like a whole culture, and it kind of, looking back, we get nostalgic because it fulfilled a lot of the, things in life. Man. Around the validation and the social network and having those deep connections with the boys and traveling together and having, your parents fight the American parents in the hockey tournaments in the stands.
Little Caesars.
And shout out Phil Kessel, 87.
Phil Kessel,
87, let's go. But that was it. It was a hockey culture. And to be honest, when I kind of moved into phase 2 of kind of the post-hockey life, at first I thought it was kind of a negative, because I'm starting so late and all my peers are ahead of me, they've already graduated or they've already started businesses or something. But as I've kind of got older, I look back at not just the life experiences, but the skills we developed in competitive hockey and how that has helped a lot in the business world. And that's something I think about a lot now.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. A lot of people don't realize that. It's just not young, dumb, and full of cum, you know what I mean? You actually learn a lot of shit playing the game in the real life. Even for me, in real estate, a lot of the stuff is stuff that you learn just growing up, being a team player, pulling your weight, being a people person, figuring out problems, figuring out solution to problems, I should say. There's some things you still don't do, like back check and and all that kind of shit. But I completely get what you're saying.
And you know what else too? Like, those are like the Harvard Business School why athletes might make good employees kind of thing. But for me, the biggest thing I think was getting used to competing at a high level, and that applies kind of everywhere, whether it's business or hockey or elite kind of business. You go to like tech, you go to Silicon Valley, it's like, it's cutthroat and it's like ultra competitive. There's no shortage, just like hockey, right? Like you and I both got drafted, and it's like every year there's a new crop of young kids hungry to come and take you off the throne.
100%.
And you get used to like that, like it's kind of natural for us now in your business and my business, like you kind of crave it. It's like, that's what
is that what holds you accountable? Is that what makes you want more?
It's just that competitiveness, and like what it takes to compete at that elite level. Yeah. And also you're used to failing. Like, we've all been cut. Yeah. I've been cut like very publicly and on teams before, and like
Sully gave you the axe.
And that's part 2 of the podcast.
Yeah, that's the second part.
And London too, and New York. So for me, like, it's shitty at the time, but it makes you stronger, and it makes you realize, like, when you have an opportunity, you don't want to piss it away. Yeah. And that's something I think about a lot too, because life's all about, can you seize an opportunity when it's there? And when you don't do that in a previous life, you're like, okay, well, now I know better next time to really, address an opportunity.
So now, going from your hockey life, like you mentioned, drafted to New York. I was actually looking at the wall. I like how you set it up. You got like the hockey wall, which I fucking made. Yes. You got.
Oh, did you? Yeah, you made the cut. Yep.
Yeah, I did. Yep. And then you have a wall in the back there. Very interesting. Was that here when you got here, or is that your wall?
No, I kind of curated it for like people that inspire me, and I kind of walk by it every day.
Okay, because there's some pretty cool people up there that you wouldn't like. Even that Jacob Slevin.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, why does this guy have just some random?
I don't want to go too mainstream. Like, I have Elon up there because it's Elon, but other than that, I try to go like a little.
And I'm like, why the fuck does this guy have this, like, not random, like a hell of a player, but then it's like, adopted from African parents. He was an orphan. Never knew that.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. You had the football player there too.
Pat Tillman.
But yeah, no, it was just
that guy. For those who don't know, he signed. He's a football player in the U.S. He signed a $8 million a year contract or something, like guaranteed or close to it. And a war broke out, and he joined the U.S. Army and died. He's just like put that all away for
his the fucking flag. You think it would happen now in today's world? Another thing, man. You have Rob Ford there and Doug Ford on this wall.
No, I think I only got Doug. I only got Rob.
Doug.
Oh yeah, Doug and that
Doug
one. Yeah,
Drew.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, it was little opposite ends of the spectrum.
different context, but yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, like I said, I've known you for fucking 20 years. I still don't know what the fuck you do for a living. You've clearly done something right. Hockey wasn't paying the bills, and it's funny because I know you're into crypto, polymath, blockchain. I know these words just from you. I have no clue what the fuck they are. And then when people talk to me, they're like, oh yeah, crypto, this, Bitcoin. I look at them, I'm like, guys, like, I think I know Mr. Crypto, which is you, but I don't know anything about it. So explain what it is exactly you do.
But yeah, so I kind of had this moment. There were a few milestones in my career, but it was actually a car accident that fully ended my hockey career, and it was kind of abrupt. And I was drafted to the New York Rangers in 2005, which was unbelievable. Yeah. And just some of the, and see what it takes to play at that elite level, and seeing the guys that I was with, like I was at rookie camp
that time.
So that was
Yager?
Yeah, that was the year New York was kind of overpaying the older guys to come in, and they were like, oh, let's get Shanahan in at the end of their careers. And they were never that competitive. Yeah. And then my year was like, Glenn Sather was the GM, and they're like, no, starting now, we're going to change the culture. We're going to draft, we're going to develop, and we're going to give everyone a chance. And they really did. I was really impressed. They gave first rounder to seventh rounder, they gave everyone a sniff, and it was so professional. Like, I remember, you would like get off the team jet, and they would have like the veterans cars idling for them in the hangar on the way out. And it was just like world class. You're 18 and you're like, this is normal. Yeah. This is real life.
Yeah.
And then
that's National League for sure.
Yeah, it was just unbelievable, and just so well run, so professional. They treated everyone well.
Storied franchise too.
The franchise, the original 6 team, and they had guys like Adam Graves was like kind of an ambassador there and helping get the younger guys familiar. I remember one night out at one of the camps, we had a dinner, and all the older guys went to like a steakhouse in Manhattan or something. And then all the young guys couldn't afford it, so we all went to like Applebee's, and it was me and this guy. He was from Sweden, and he was like the nicest guy, and we're like arguing over like the half price appetizers and who's gonna pay. And it ended up I forgot his name, and then a few years later I'm like, that's Henrik Lundqvist.
Shut up.
And he was either a late pick or undrafted, and he came over from Sweden as like I think he's an 85 birthday.
You think he would still be complaining about half-price apples at Applebee's?
He probably owns Applebee's now.
Fuck, for real. Jesus.
Yeah, so like he's a legendary goaltender for like the Hall of Fame and all that.
Yeah, I think he's inducted this year. I saw or something like that. Well deserved.
And just a solid guy, and
he was always stud like, too. So well nice. Dressed, well so spoken.
Nice. Yeah, and so anyway, so when things kind of abruptly ended for me, and it was like a whole like identity shift, because like that was your identity, and I like literally had to like reinvent myself. And there's kind of one thing, because I went from like living the dream, being a hockey player, to at home in my parents' basement, trying to figure out what to do next. And I didn't have any like marketable job skills or anything to speak of. So I kind of had this moment where I was like, you know what? I'm okay at the high level. I do okay. Like I feel at home, and I feel like I'm thriving like at a high competitive level. But being at home, I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with this too. Yeah. I'm okay at the bottom, and I'm okay at the top. But like my biggest fear was like just being in the middle. Yeah. And being kind of like not being passionate about something and not doing something that really challenged me. So I was like, I remember I had this thought where I was like, I can take chances, because no matter what, I'm okay, because I'm good at the bottom, and I'm good at the top.
Yeah, smart.
I'm like, yo, mom, what's up? I'm gonna come.
I'm coming back
in the basement or whatever. And so that was a moment for me. I'm like, I think I want to get into entrepreneurship. Yep. And I kind of made a pact with myself, like no matter what, this is the path I've chosen. And I actually made like a video like to myself, like this is like an oath to myself, like I'm doing this no matter how hard it was.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it was hard. Like it was, being from Canada, it's an amazing entrepreneur culture now. But back then when I was getting started for tech, it wasn't as well developed. So you really had to fight for every inch. It's like hockey in a lot of ways. Nothing's given to you. You have to earn everything. And it was just a long, slow progression of like learning new skills, and not in school. Nothing against like higher education, but a lot of the skills that you need to succeed in entrepreneurship, like sales, like negotiating, like hiring people. Like there's no classes really in schools for that, at least the ones that I took.
Maybe DeVry.
Just whips out the diploma.
Yeah. Get your ass off the couch. That famous commercial. Go. Sorry for interrupting you. I had that on my mind, DeVry.
Good break to a DeVry ad here in the show notes.
Yeah, exactly. Free plug.
But that was kind of the journey. I was kind of still in my early 20s, and I was in a pretty serious car accident. I don't know if I ever told you, but I was in a,
I think I do remember that. Yeah, I think I do remember that.
In a bang up on the 401. I think I was going to a meeting from Western to meet an entrepreneur named Ron Close, who's like a well-known Canadian entrepreneur, and basically got sideswiped by a fully loaded transport truck, was airlifted to Hamilton General. That was the closest hospital, and I was in the ICU for a week and in the hospital for another couple of months recovering. So it was like a pretty serious injury. It's like if you add up all the concussions you've got over the years, basically. So
yeah,
anyway,
exactly.
So I did. So went to that, and I had to kind of recover, and I like my left side was really weak, and I had to kind of learn how to be active again and stuff, and that was like another kind of challenge, and I kind of needed that. It's like, okay, here's some adversity, here's a challenge, like how can I keep a positive attitude and try to, you know, make the best out of it. And to this day I try to like be grateful for just being lucky and recovering pretty well, and also trying to like help other people that had traumatic brain injuries in the past. But anyway, so I decided to get into entrepreneurship, especially kind of tech startups, and I kind of I finally found my new identity from being a hockey player to being a founder. And so a founder is like, it's like an entrepreneur. A founder of a tech company is just kind of an easier word to say than entrepreneur. So I was like, I'm a founder, I'm not an investor, I'm sort of an operator, but a founder is like true what I am and what I identify with. And that was important for me to have like an identity that I could kind of you know, attach myself to. So it was kind of at that moment where I was kind of in the sea of different opportunities, and it was like a paradox of choice. Like there's so many different avenues. You can move to Silicon Valley, you can go and start a startup, you can go join a startup, you can go and like take some time off to learn how Y Combinator teaches you to build businesses. Like there's so many things you can do. Or what industry within tech, like when I was just getting started, there wasn't as many verticals as there is now, but there's like literally so many different, in fintech and now AI and crypto. Like there's so many ways.
Dude, I just know how to turn my fucking iPhone, dude. That's as far as I got.
Yeah, no, and
I think a lot of people are like that, though.
Yeah, no, and it's kind of good to have that simple mindset too, because that's what the products you have to build have to be super easy for people.
But I feel like, not even to sidetrack, but I feel like all these bajillionaires in today's society, like the only way to make that kind of money, like to fuck you money, is through tech. I feel, or the crypto, or you know, whatever that corner of the market basically grasp. Like you can't make this kind of money fucking winning Lotto Max every week, playing hockey, being a professional athlete. This, like, okay, yeah, there's obviously the family money in some of these bajillionaires, but a lot of these, they're kids. Yeah. They're kids living in Silicon Valley. Yeah. Like, it's wild, man.
Yeah. It's truly an amazing time to be alive, because
you did that. You did that whole thing.
Yeah, you know, look, it's not easy, and a lot of times you get the sampling bias of like seeing, you know, a Mark Zuckerberg, but you don't see the 100,000
exactly.
Mark Zuckerbergs that try to do it and
failed.
Yeah. And because the barriers to entry are so low, that's amazing, because literally anyone from anywhere in the world, there's no excuse anymore to start a startup, but it's also more competitive. So the bar is a lot higher now too, and it's a competitive marketplace. But again, you got to look at the bright side, because anybody can launch a business with very little capital. I see companies now with like one person. It's like solopreneurs that have these huge businesses that make 8 figures in revenue a month, and it's like one guy or girl running this thing, and like that's just not possible before. And to your point about, you know, where the money is or how to build capital, you know, tech is a great kind of blanket statement, but a lot of it is just like owning equity in something. Yeah. Because Naval talks about this a lot. He's kind of like a thought leader in the tech space, and it's like there's different kinds of leverage that you can have, and owning a business is one of them. And then you can use that business to get more leverage through capital, by generating revenue or raising money, or by software, by learning how to code, or learning how to hire people to code, so you can use that to generate value. And so there's all these new different levers that you can do to succeed and make an impact, which is like really exciting to me. You can invest too. Like I see a lot of people now that are solo fund managers. So they run a venture capital fund or an angel fund, and they raise money from other people. They're called limited partners, and then they deploy that into startups themselves. And so they're not necessarily starting a company, but they're starting a firm or a fund that invests in other startups, and they have a unique advantage by being like in that space, right? So a lot of the people with money say, oh, I don't know much about crypto, or I don't know much about AI, but you're in the space, what if I gave you money and you could deploy it, and they make money by sharing the profits that they make in the fund. So the better performance the fund does, the more money they make. So the incentives are aligned for the fund manager to do well. So my point is, like, there's just lots of different ways to think about, making an impact in the 2023 economy.
If you had to change anything, what would you have changed now from where you are and from where you came?
This is a kind of a controversial statement, but I probably would have moved to San Francisco earlier, and where you are really matters. And
okay.
Like, if you want to be a professional hockey player, where do you go?
Not San Francisco.
Unless you're Bobby Ryan or
yeah.
California. But yeah, it's, if you want to be an actor, where do you go, right? Yeah. If you want to be a filmmaker, or you want to be a financial, banker, you go to New York. So tech, there's a network effect in California.
And is that what it is? It's just a network effect there?
Yeah, it is. That's what it is. It's like all the best investors are there, and the biggest investors, all of the best executives are there.
And this is tech specific.
I'd say focused on tech. And I shouldn't say the best, but the ones that have the most experience, like scaling, we call them unicorns, like private companies worth $1 billion or more. There's just a lot of activity. There's a lot of M&A. There's a lot of IPOs, and there's a lot of founders and senior executives that have done it before, and then they take that roadmap and they reinvest it in smaller startups. So they come back and do it again in a new company. Like Elon Musk is a good example. He's on like startup 6 or 7. He did PayPal, and he did before that he did X.com that became PayPal, and then he did Tesla and SpaceX and all these things. So there's no excuse now. Like, you don't need to be, especially now with the remote world, and a lot of the investors from Silicon Valley are looking elsewhere now. Like, there's an event in Toronto now called Collision. Which
that's what you were saying.
I'm really impressed with.
Really?
They did a really good job.
And you said that was what, the last couple of days?
Last couple of days. It's grown every year. I didn't even go the first couple of years because I'm like, it's a Canadian tech conference. But I looked at the speaker list. There's like serious dudes here from Andreessen Horowitz, from Sequoia, some of the biggest VCs in the world. Guys and girls coming up from there that are unbelievable. And just like the energy, and every city kind of has its own
vibe
niche and its own vibe. And Toronto is one of the best academic centers for AI, just because. Is
that shit taking over the world?
It's exciting. Like, it's a crazy, bubble mixed with real value, kind of, crazy industry right now. But it's real. Like, you can use it yourself. You can go use these products and say, I don't have to write job descriptions anymore. I don't have to write blog posts anymore. I don't have to think about how much time we spend writing and typing.
Tinder messages, everything. Whatever the fuck we need. I know, it's crazy, man. It's listen, I can't grasp the whole concept of it. I mean, again, I'm the farthest thing from a tech person, but I see this stuff and it blows my mind. And it's like, for a guy like you that's experienced it, I just, I try to understand, even the crypto, the Metaverse, the people breeding fucking fake horses in a fake world and people paying real money for it.
Yeah.
I was talking to guys in this Metaverse, I have a horse that just want to race, and I studded him, and some guy paid me real money for this fucking horse in a fake world. I'm like, I can't understand, but it's real. It's real, and people are making fucking bank.
It is real. But think of it this way: imagine our parents, if they, go back in time, and they're like, in the future, your kids or your grandkids are going to be spending 80% of their waking hours staring at a screen. This is the Metaverse. But every time you go on your phone, this is a fake world of Instagram and text messaging. That's not real. It's all digital, but it is real, like you said. And so
I never look at it like that.
Yeah,
I know Instagram's fake, that's for sure. You never see any ugly people or poor people on Instagram, I'll tell you that for free.
Yeah, exactly. Between television, your phone, your laptop, your desktop, people spend the majority of their waking hours staring at a screen on the internet.
Yeah.
And so is it that much of a leap to say, and now there's AI, autonomous agents, or there's Metaverse, or there's ever, it's kind of like the next logical step. Because look at our parents, that's a much bigger leap to where we are now. Of like,
yeah, they would have said like, there would have been not a chance. And I know what you mean.
Yeah, I sometimes I got to be careful. I got my like home office here, and like I haven't left my house in 72 hours. Like I'm just like,
from one screen to another.
From one screen, and people are coming, like doing meetings here at a home office here, and like you go outside and you're like, I'm losing my vision. I haven't looked in the distance for like 6 weeks to look at anything. So, but it's exciting, and I just encourage everyone now to find a niche or a passion within this crazy space, and just take action and start something in that space. Build something.
Well, you've definitely done pretty good for yourself, dude. And for that, I was always proud of you, because it was, me and you were very similar, because we never wanted to take that straight path, that normal path. It was always fucking.
You can say that again.
Like, you know what I mean? And like I said, we've known each other for a while, and we obviously took two completely different paths after hockey, but we've stayed in touch, which I'm forever grateful for. But like, just, your Instagram's awesome. It's just genuine. And that's why I've always had that respect for you, because what you see here is what you see on Instagram, is what you see on the streets. It's like, it's something that I've taken for granted over the years, where, a lot of guys, people, listen, I don't know what you're worth. I don't know what you make, but I know you do pretty well for yourself. And the fact that you're kicking it in your fucking red Uggs, slippers, and you're just chilling, and you've been the same dude since we were 16. And it's incredible, man.
Same maturity level.
The same maturity level, but like, the fact that you just kick it old school, man, I find it incredible. And you're on fucking private jets to Bahamas and Barbados and fucking...
That's all smoke and mirrors. Nowadays, I'm kind of, I think more in my natural habitat, where I'm founding companies, and I'm helping with the early stages. That's what I'm really passionate about.
Yeah.
Like putting this new concept together, putting a team in place, raising the first round of capital, putting a board together and a governance structure to like help the company be in a position to thrive. We can get more to how I do that. But then I'm partnering with a management team early on. So I find like a really good operator, like a banker or a CEO who's much better than me at operating.
Yeah.
And then he or she is my 50-50 partner. And we go in and say, I'm going to stay in my lane. I'm going to help in the early stages. I'm going to bring the first round of capital in. We're going to negotiate a salary for you. And then I'm not going to get in the way, and I'm not going to interfere. And I was realizing before I made this transition, I was probably getting in the way and stepping on toes more than helping in a lot of ways. So
is that just the character from being in control from hockey?
I don't know what it is, but it's tough, and I respect like startup founders and operators. It is not a glamorous job.
Yeah.
It is tough, and sometimes I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It's like everyone depends on you. You're taking a pay cut. You're just stressing and fighting to survive every day, because like I said, it's so competitive out there, and everything depends on you. You have to go recruit the board. You have to go raise the capital. You have to go make all the key hires. You have to go and incentivize and motivate and nurture your people. That's probably the thing I've learned is the most important key to success is the people you bring on early.
Yeah.
And I always kind of was lazy, so I would try to delegate things that you should not delegate.
That you should have taken control of?
Exactly. Like if you're a tech founder, there's some things you never delegate in the early stages. Fundraising, that's the CEO founder's job. Hiring, that's the CEO founder's job. So things like that.
You're not putting out Kijiji ads.
Yeah, exactly. And
help wanted.
But the thing is, you have to talking to your early customers, you can't delegate that. So I would always try to do that, and kind of learning the hard way. But anyways, as time went on, I was like, I also kind of like doing a lot of things. So I have a lot of interests, and I like within crypto itself, I have a lot of interest within that space. And now with AI, I have a lot of interest. I've been studying that technology for a little while now, and I'm very curious.
So you put in the work too.
I do put in the work, and I've noticed. I think when I got started in tech, I was always like, what's the fastest way I can make $10,000 a month in passive income? That was my goal. And I was like, every day I was like, how can I get that? And first of all, that's a misnomer because there's nothing really passive about tech. It changes so fast.
Yeah.
You have to be showing up to the office and being agile and changing and adapting. So that was one falsehood. But also, as you kind of get the hang of it and you start building a network of investors that you depend on when you need capital that are strategic and can help you, or team members that can help you build the company that have different skills. So you have like your go-to marketing person, your go-to engineer, your go-to co-founder. And you notice that a lot. Like when someone goes to start something new, usually they bring their core group around them because the people are what matter, and the trust you have between that group is what matters. So it's not so much about the idea. That's what I always used to get excited about, and I was always like protective about my idea and what our competitor's going to do and sign this NDA. But as time goes on, you realize like that's cheap and doesn't really matter about your idea, because everyone's got ideas. That's the easy part.
Yeah, that's the easiest part.
It's the cliche.
I have millions of them that run around there.
Exactly. Like can you execute that and bring it to life and make it work and scale it and grow it? So that's to me the MVP of this whole ecosystem is like the builders, the people in the trenches every day, chewing glass, doing the hard stuff that no one else will do.
No one else will do.
And I like hanging out. Like most of my time now I spend with other founders. Like those are the people I identify the most with. Those are the people too I like kind of suck up to. And I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, do you want to like grab a bite, and how's it going? Are you doing an investment round? Are you looking for a new job? Just kind of like those connections. I had an event here with some really smart young founders in the Web3 crypto space. Bro, these kids are so smart. Remember hockey, how good they are now? Do you watch these guys now? Oh God, it's not like when we were back in the day, dude. Like they're so good. Whether it's like top athletics, and it's the same in business now. Like in my early 20s, I was a bozo, still am, but like even worse back. And it's like unbelievable now. They're so dialed in, and with the internet, everyone's got access to the knowledge, right? They all go to like the Y Combinator school online, and they're like so good, so smart. And it's the young kind of generation. These kind of 20 to 25 year old founders that are taking the risks, that are putting themselves out there and really like shaking things up in an industry. And like I'm glad the bar was a bit lower back in the day, if you know what I mean.
It's a lot tougher. It was a lot tougher.
Yeah, for sure.
That's amazing. Well, anyways, dude, we're gonna have a couple pops after.
Be rude not to.
I've already had a couple of your meals in there.
Let me check your pockets.
Yeah, for real. I had some of those sesame what are those ginger snaps? I probably had the whole jar. I took one of your meals out of the fridge, a couple flow waters. But anyways,
do you
listen.
have any Bitcoin?
What?
Where's your Bitcoin at?
In my car.
Okay.
I got him dangling off the rear view. I wish, man. I wish. That was the one thing. I just never understood it. I mean, I've spent a lot more money on stupider things, but well, little did I know.
That's kind of been my natural habitat for the last decade, really, or however long I've been doing this. But it's I'm very bullish about the industry, about the ecosystem, about the builders in the space. Like I think now people always look at the price and the spasm of the market and the whatever, but this is the perfect time. Like they say in
the perfect time to what? Buy?
The perfect time to start a business is in this vintage, like this cycle. Because think of it, if you look at any of the top companies in the world, pretty much most of them started in a bear market. Like Facebook, I think, was in 2008 financial crisis, and Apple was the one before that.
Yeah.
And Google was the same thing. Like that's when the real serious people come that are there for the right reasons, that are there for the technology. And in the bull markets, when things get crazy, like you probably see this too, it's insane. It's like people are just being irresponsible and like myself included. Like you get caught up in it and you make stupid decisions and you get greedy. And it's moments like this when the real wealth is created, when the real value is created. So I'm trying to train myself. It's still tough, but you want to be.
Do you still trade Bitcoin?
You know, I've never been much of a trader. In fact, I've lost a lot more money trading crypto than I've made it. I kind of have a philosophy, whether it's stocks or crypto, to kind of zoom out, look at the trajectory of where the market's going over the long run, and just taking a position that's long-term based. So for stocks, I highly recommend people don't day trade them. It's like buy the index, ride it up, and forget about it. You have less stress, you have less time wasted on like reading trading reports and other bullshit, and you can do better than the traders 99 times out of 100. In fact, you do better than the professional traders and the professional hedge funds net of fees over the long run. So work smart, you know, not hard necessarily when it comes to that. Same with crypto. Like if you're not in it day to day and you're not technical, doesn't mean you can't get exposed to it. Like buy, you know, some Bitcoin, buy some Ethereum. It's not financial advice, but I just mean if you're going to, like, do it in a long-term focused, have a strategy, like this percentage of my portfolio. It should be a very small single-digit percent of it. And now with things like Ethereum, you can actually get some cash flow from owning it as well. So it's kind of like a dividend stock.
Wow.
And I've always thought, you know, the dream is kind of coming back full circle to early on in my career. It's like having steady cash flow coming in regardless of the market cycle, regardless of whether you're working or not. And so you're not necessarily trading your time for money in the form of a salary. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you know, you're building up assets that pay you money. That's the definition of an asset. It puts money in your pocket at the end of every month. So crypto's got some interesting ways to do that, and not just like Bitcoin and Ethereum. If you're feeling a little frisky, you can learn the NFT game a little bit, and you can create an NFT collection, and you can actually program into the NFTs you create a royalty that every time that NFT trades hands in the future, you get a cut of it. So it's are
those the NFTs in your house?
Yeah, some
are those real?
Yeah, some of them. I have like a little collection here
on the wall there.
Yeah, I've paid a lot.
Can't actually notice them. What is that? The monk? What's it called? The bathing ape?
Bored ape there. Yeah,
Bored ape.
It's worth a lot less than I paid for it. If you're wondering, in both dollars and in terms of ether, that's how you price things.
They look pretty cool though.
But it's interesting, like, not to go down the rabbit hole too much, but like, it's interesting. So whether you're a collector, so like me, I'm a collector or an investor, if you want to look at it that way, or whether you're an artist, or whether you're somewhere in the middle, it's a really cool space to be. So for example, I'm a collector. If you own some of these NFTs, sometimes you wake up and you get another one for free. It's called an airdrop. So one of the collections I own, and it's not like crazy money or anything, but you wake up and they say, we did a new collection. It's like a new riff on the original design we did, and we're giving it to all the existing holders for free in the form of an airdrop. And you wake up and you've got some like new NFT that just was airdropped to you. So like, point is, it's like a new modality for art, or a new way to like experience art. But
it's not an actual art. It's like just on your phone.
Yeah, think of it.
And then you print that one out, or is that like a real one, like that one on the wall?
It's think of it like the opposite of, like, you know, the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
It's priceless, except when you go to the gift shop in the Louvre or wherever, it's there, and the physical thing is priceless. And then when you go to the gift shop, the T-shirts and the printouts are all worth $2.
Yeah.
So NFTs are the opposite. So the digital
is worth nothing.
The digital thing is what's valuable. The physical stuff on the wall is, someone could go steal that, and it's like, it's worth just the frame that it's on. If you steal the Mona Lisa, then you have like $1 billion asset in your trunk. But if you
so me ripping that off the wall ain't gonna do me any good.
Yeah, no, go for it. On to plan B.
Yeah.
So I didn't explain that well, but like,
yeah, no, I completely.
If you're an artist, let's say if you're an artist, because you've always had that kind of artsy vibe to you, a little bit hipster kind of swag, I'd say.
Like the Queen Street, like hemp bracelets and shit. The Queen Street vibes?
The toupee, you know. Or not the toupee, the frickin', what's that hat called? Anyways,
yeah, the Bob Marley hat?
The Bob Marley hat, thank you. But like, if you're an artist in the NFT world, you can create in the old days, you would create a bunch of art in your studio and you would sell it to someone for cash. So you have like a sale. and then you'd go back to the lab and you'd create some more stuff and sell it, and that's your meager existence. But now I see artists, they're creating NFT collections, and instead of one, it's 10,000 of them. And there's many ways you can monetize it. So you can sell it directly to someone in a primary sale, just like the olden days, except you get a digital representation like the stuff I have. Or you can give it away for free. Like, let's say you create 10,000, you can give 8,000 away for free in an airdrop and keep 2,000 behind for yourself in the treasury. And as the value of the collection goes up, you just sell the 2,000. So that's another way you can monetize it. Or the third way, which I think is the coolest, is you can give them all away for free, but charge a royalty every time someone buys it.
Or trades them.
Or trades it. And it's like really cool because there's no like middleman, there's no like label or agent that you go through or like a Sotheby's or anything.
Any sale, you're collecting a piece.
And you just wake up and you have residuals, they're called, or royalties that come in. And so suddenly artists have like this whole new way without having to like sell their soul to some label or record company or whatever to do it. So that kind of stuff I find really exciting. And I think if you look at the crypto market, which NFTs are a part of technically, it's kind of decoupled. Like even when Bitcoin goes up and down, the NFT world is still super vibrant and exciting. And it's not I don't spend most of my workday in the NFT space, but it's one little example, a microcosm within the crypto space of what's really exciting and interesting.
That's wild, dude.
What's your collection coming out?
I could probably come up with something pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's easy now. I'd
probably come up with something pretty cool.
And in that case, you don't need connections. You don't need a lot of. You just do it and learn and do another one and kind of.
You. What more do I need? Airdrop to people.
You can even you can treat it like
slip
a business.
In a wiener
you can
pick
hire
in there
someone.
Too. Just a couple NFTs. What the fuck is this? Oh, sorry, dude. My bad.
And the gift card package, like, whoops.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. But anyways, listen. Once again, I want to thank you for fucking having us at this sick place.
This is great. I'm a fan of the content.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah,
I'm happy. I really am. But yeah, like I said, Trevor Koverko. Handles at Trevor Koverko.
Yep.
Pretty straightforward. Give him a follow. Check out his lifestyle, as you would say. One of the coolest dudes I've ever had the pleasure of meeting, and looking forward to next weekend.
And bro, if this bear market continues, you can give me a job. Deal?
Always. Thanks, brother. Thank you so much.
Thanks, peeps.